Alright, hey everyone, welcome back to BS Rambles, and today I have put together a little public test realm quick match with a bunch of people to try to get this gameplay for the Yrel dedicated support build that I released earlier. It got a lot of attention. I think people wanted to see more of the game and an actual gameplay demo of it, and frankly I'm curious to see how it goes as well, so I'm excited to get this done. I'm glad that I found 9 willing people to help me out. It's pretty awesome. It only took probably about 15 minutes or so on the public test realm to get this game going. Unfortunately for me, I've got something weird going on with my sound that has made it so that I can't really hear what I'm doing other than my own voice, which is pretty much worst case scenario for me. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how Yrel stacks up in an actual game. Right now she's feeling pretty good. Obviously you guys saw at the start I took Murad's Insight. I really think that that's the best talent. The other option I was thinking of is Light of Karabor, but frankly I just think that the healing output of Murad's Insight is a lot more, just because you can get so many of her cooldowns off quickly that you are triggering that heal quite often. And I do think that it's the best sustained talent, although, what's it called, Light of Karabor probably does offer better burst healing for yourself if you are in a situation where it's necessary. I think overall this is the best one. I love how long the charge stays too. You notice there's that little icon there. If you're at max health, it'll actually stay as well, so you won't end up using the charge. You'll see here, now I can use a melee attack and it doesn't trigger it. So now that I've lost a bit of health, it will trigger. So it's really good in that sense. I'm just going to try like a cheeky move here. Knock these guys back a bit. So I know that the clacking of my keyboard is coming through the mic a little bit. It's something I've got to work on. I was trying to get the sound settings set up, but the opportunity for this game arose, and I really didn't want to miss it, so I'm just going for it. Waiting for this guy to flip me here. Level 4, as you know if you saw the other build guide, and if you haven't seen it, I would really recommend it. It's just like a 7-minute theory crash course in what this build is, what the capabilities are, and when it comes along online. I'll cover a lot of it in this video as well, but I'm going to more try to focus on just trying to get a good game here. So this is the core part of the build, is that Gift of Naru will heal people for 468. You see there, it's quite a massive heal, and it does scale quite well. So by level 16, I think it's already healing for like 720, and that's when the build really comes online. So it is going to be a big deal. Back off. I kind of wish I could be in team chat with these guys. They seemed a bunch of... I think Public Test Realm is kind of a unique community in and of itself, just because it's people who are into the game enough that they want to... They're so excited about playing Alterac Pass that they're willing to download another 12 gigabyte thing and go in and basically play games that don't mean anything other than you get to have fun testing out this new stuff, right? So it's just a bunch of guys that are people rather that are just really excited about testing the game and just want to get in there and play and have fun, right? So it's kind of a unique community, whereas in Hero League you get a bunch of people that are playing more because they're addicted to the Hero League grind than for the actual love of the game, I think. Oh man, I just suicided. Oh, that sucks. Darn. It's always bad for the video when you gotta spend time dead. Yeah, I think it's a unique community. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about the build while I'm sitting here waiting. So next up we're gonna take Divine Steed. It doesn't really offer anything that contributes significantly in terms of the healing capabilities, but this is mostly a mobility section. And I really think that it's one of the best mobility moves in the game. The instant mount, and on top of that you get the added functionality to your mount. The increased movement speed is pretty incredible. Just gotta wait for my team to get here. One of the things about this build is you really got to make sure that you're using your Divine Purpose a lot, right? Like you want to be triggering that cooldown as much as you can so that you can get the most value out of it. Because your best value is by activating that cooldown. So Steed now. which I did a bad job just there of. That's something that you just saw that I feel like will be fixed and needs to be fixed for Yrel, is that she's actually not invulnerable or not untargetable while she's in the air for her jump, which feels strange to me because she is in the air for it, that someone can just simply knock you out of it like that. It just doesn't quite feel right, and I think that we're going to find that she's a little bit too vulnerable to CC, and I imagine that'll be one of the first things that they do to fix it. It also is, Avenging Wrath is a bit slow, so people who are mobile are quite difficult to hit with it. One of the talents that I feel like might be helpful too is Holy Avenger, because there's a lot of time when you're walking around with that Righteous Hammer fully charged, and you need to hit somebody and you just can't get it off. And you just feel like such a Dorcas walking around with this big old hammer out and nobody to hit with it. But you can probably see already that our team sustain is pretty ridiculous. Just by way of on a 10-second cooldown, we get that 500 free heal, right? And this hasn't even come online yet. I would consider this a late game build with a critical point being at level 16. So at level 16, you're going to notice a significant jump when the cooldown gets lowered to 4 to 6 seconds. So on the burst, on the initiation of the fight, you can lower it down to 4 seconds if you're on top of your cooldowns. Of course, you won't have time to full charge your basic abilities if that is what you're going to be doing, but I do think it's still worthwhile just to pump out the abilities and get everything off. Especially the abilities offer things beyond just the damage, and like, I mean, the fact that one's got a knockback, the other's got a slow, and Vindication later will be a damage reduction. I believe that's the only one that we will need to focus on getting a full charge off for. And I'd say heal for yourself too. You can pop Divine Purpose and then hit Vindication and you instantly get the health boon. Right now the cooldowns are a little bit staggered, which will happen pretty often if you're not patient with your Vindication. So at level 10, I think that Ardent Defender is the way to go here, just because it's a little bit more dynamic, and this is a dynamic map. I think for maps like Brax's Holdout, where it's going to be more area control based, that the armor talent, Sacred Ground, might be very effective. One thing I noticed that is the level 1, I did toy with the full armor stacking build. There's a big old heal for him, big old heal for me, throw some slows down on these guys, knock them back for the disengage, and all of this while I still have Ardent Defender in the pocket. Now I've got a heal for him, slow for these guys, I can knock them back still, gain a little bit of health. I do still have Ardent Defender, still getting value out of that level 1 talent at this point. I mean, the healing capability of this build, I think, is pretty incredible. And there's probably the first time you've seen some functionality out of Divine Steed, and it's honestly, it's fun to have too, just to not have to deal with standing there still while you mount. If you're like me and you have what doctors would call severe ADD, and you don't like spending the however long, 3 seconds or whatever, standing still to summon your mount, it's really nice. And what it does do is it turns it into a combat mechanic. It's only on a 4-second cooldown when you dismount. So now all of a sudden it's something that you can use during fights to reposition and gain ground on people, and I'll try to demo it a little bit there. If I'm honest, in that last fight I kind of forgotten about it. I'm sure I could have got some functionality out of it. But it just means that Yrel's got another holy shit button, and she doesn't really need another holy shit button, but you're giving her one with this, and it's awesome. Oh, random mantis. Why? What are you doing? Yeah, these guys are... I can't give up enough credit to the guys who are just willing to jump into this game. I think it's really awesome that people are on the public test round just because they're excited about Alterac Pass. For me, this is pretty much a dream event. I love the World of Warcraft universe, and I kind of secretly wish that it's all that they put into this game. I love characters like Diablo and Nazebo. If I'm honest, I only played Diablo 3, and other than that, I've just been like a lifelong hardcore WoW dork. And I love the universe. I love that guy No Bells. If you ever seen his YouTube channel, he does awesome breakdowns of WoW lore. Focus on this fight. There you go. So this guy took the other talent, which is sweet. These guys just frankly don't have enough damage to handle us right now. And we should focus on this Yrel. I mean, you can see with this Ardent Defender that she is just an absolute total beefcake, but the output just isn't high enough, and I don't think that is dynamic enough of an ultimate to be very functional on this map. I think that we should be able to out-damage her, I'd hope here, maybe not. This is going to be Vindication reduces enemy damage, and it's at 30% for 3 seconds, which I think is pretty incredible and probably longer than it needs to be. I'm just going to knock her out of this. I don't know why I didn't do that much sooner. You can see how much I'm contributing to our team sustain. I really wish that we could track the heal stats so we could see at the end of the game just how much value has come out of this build, because I do feel like it would be a lot. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see that. But yeah, hopefully you can see just from this that the value is quite high. Oh, please! Damn. Maybe if I had popped Divine Purpose and got the jump in there a little sooner, that would have gone off. Let's see if I can keep this guy. Oh, it didn't hit him there, maybe because he's in stasis. I'm not doing a lot to heal this guy right now. 3 seconds and I'll get him. Here we go. He's 693 at level 14. It's a pretty incredible heal already. I just nerfed all their damage with that. Yeah, I gotta pop my shield now. First time. Look at that. It's beautiful. Get a heal off on our Varian there. All the while still getting sustained value for myself out of that level 1 talent, which also seems to scale quite well. So far from this game, first game against actual players, I am extremely impressed with how this build is going. I mean, the healing output certainly is noticeable. Tassadar is a perfect combination for this build, where we both got kind of the hatchier thing going on, but we'll both be putting out pretty significant DPS. I'm just going to knock this Yrel out of this if I can. Just get a heal off the Varian, heal off on myself, that's a damage nerf for them, and displace this Tychus because he's doing some damage so we can focus on Yrel. Unfortunately, I don't have anything for that Varian at the moment. Get off the heal on me. Yeah, that Yrel is playing well inside her, what's it called, the armor ultimate there. She's getting a lot of value out of that, but I do think that I'm getting more value. I mean, we're just out-sustaining. She doesn't do very much damage to the thing, so I don't know if a stagnant play like that is even that powerful. She's just kind of standing there. I think the best thing to do would be to completely ignore her and just suffer through her knockbacks and slows, but they're not very significant. You're better off just focusing another target and knocking her out of it. I think Diablo probably has a good opportunity to knock her out of it. It's probably super weak to Apocalypse because she's not very mobile in it. So AoE abilities would be good on it. So this is where things are going to start popping off. Divine Favor. Now all of a sudden our heal, as you can see, just came off cooldown in 4 seconds. And just the healing output here is going to start to get pretty out of control. So hopefully the enemy team comes and defends this so I can give you guys a good demo of what this is going to look like. I kind of need them to burst on somebody else. Hopefully this Nazilo gets tossed or something so I can show what this is capable of, because it's pretty impressive. Maybe if I just go in and start DPSing them. I don't want to take damage because the self-healing is not that good. The thing about this build is that you're going to want to play a little bit more defensive. There's a nice Apocalypse by Diablo. And here, I'll start getting the heals off now. Make sure I get off the full sank to give my team the healing. Or make sure I get the debuff off on everybody. So I'm taking a lot of damage now, so I'm just going to absorb with the shield. See how much value I can get out of that. Oh, crap. Do not want to go down here. This is the thing, this build is the one that probably leaves Yrel herself the most vulnerable, unfortunately. But I still do think the value that you're giving to your team is probably well worth it. Back in here. Just trying to keep these basic abilities firing off so I can keep on reducing the cooldown on Divine Purpose. And with that, I give my team a bunch of sustained healing. Right now, I'm really impressed with how this build is performing. 816, was that the number I just saw there? I mean, it's pretty incredible what I've been able to do in terms of the healing output this game. It's been beautiful. So, unfortunately, I never got to show you guys the level 20 talent there, which makes it so that you heal your team for 100% of the value of Ardent Defender. I think you saw how much value I got out of it in that last fight. It would essentially top off the entire team to full health. So, I mean, the build just gets stronger at level 20, but it really gets out of control at level 16. And with that, guys, I'd like to thank you very much for viewing the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe. You know the YouTube do. And I'll try to keep these coming out in the future. Thanks very much.